Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of It's Not Just Menopause. Welcome back to another episode of It's Not Just Menopause. It's episode 155. Woohoo! I am continuing my series on my fuel method for my GLP-1 nutrition program. And today we're talking about fatigue when you're on a GLP-1. And it's not the kind of tired you feel after a bad night's sleep. The kind that's just always there, right? It's just nagging and it's just there underlying. The kind that doesn't like lift, like it just never lifts. And no matter what you do, like it's just kind of there, like a dead weight on your shoulders. And it's the kind that makes you wonder if the medication is actually working against you instead of helping you, right? And so if that's you right now, please stay with me, okay? Because here's what I'm constantly seeing in women on GLP-1s in perimenopause and menopause. So if you're over 40 or if you're in your 30s and hit perimenopause already or menopause due to surgery or whatever, the fatigue is real, but most of the time it's not the medication causing it. Okay, and I've said this before, so if you've heard me at any other episode or anything, it's the nutrition. And that's actually good news because nutrition is something we can fix. Okay, so let me tell you what fatigue on a GLP-1 really looks like. Okay, so you started the medication and you felt okay at first, maybe even really good, right? Your appetite was down, the scale was moving, you felt like something was finally working. I know that was me, right? And then the exhaustion hits, right? Not gradually, but sometimes it's overnight. You wake up tired, you're tired at 10 a.m., you're hitting a wall at 2 p.m. that no amount of caffeine touches. Like you're done by dinner, you have nothing left, right? And you start wondering if this is your life now. And no, it's not. Don't worry about that, right? But here's what most is almost always happening underneath it. Your body is running on less fuel than it needs, right? The medication is doing its job. It's suppressing your appetite. You stopped eating as much and the scale is moving, but we will talk about like, is that fat or muscle later, right? And it felt like that was the right thing to do, but your body didn't get the memo. Okay. Your muscles still need fuel. Your metabolism still needs energy. In fact, under eating slows your metabolism, and that's not what we want, right? Your brain still needs the glucose. Your adrenals still need support. And in perimenopause and menopause, your body is already more vulnerable. Declining estrogen affects energy production at the cellular level. Okay, your mitochondria, the the structures within your cells, right, that generate the energy are less efficient than they used to be. And your cortisol is more reactive. Your blood sugar is less stable. Layer on the chronic underfueling on top of all of that, and fatigue is not a side effect. It's a predictable response. It is completely what is expected with what you're doing or not doing, right? Not eating. So I want to break down the specific nutrition gaps that drive fatigue on a GLP-1 because I think that many women don't realize how directly connected these are. Okay. And not enough protein. Hello, you've heard me talk about it. You're probably tired of hearing me talk about it, and you probably stopped listening. And that's not what we need to do. We need to listen. Okay, because this is the biggest one. Protein is not just about muscle. Protein provides the amino acids your body uses to make neurotransmitters to help support adrenal function. It regulates blood sugar and it produces energy. So when you're under eating protein, your body starts pulling from muscle tissue to meet its needs. And that breakdown costs energy. It tires you out, right? It leaves you depleted. And on a GLP-1, when your appetite is suppressed, it's almost impossible to hit your protein targets without being intentional. You've heard me talk about that too. That's actually part of my fuel method, right? And so not enough calories overall is another one. Your body needs a minimum amount of energy to run basic functions. Okay, BMR, like mine, now that I've lost weight, is like 1344 or something. But calories to eat, I need like 2,000 calories. So to what? Because I'm not just laying around in bed all day long, right? So when you drop below your basic needs for too long, it starts conserving. And I've said this before. It slows down, it pulls back, and the first thing you feel is tired, and it's holding on to that belly fat, so you're not losing weight. Okay, so the medicine is not working because of not eating. Okay, and if you're in menopause or perimenopause, that extra hidden stress is triggering fight or flight. Okay, so it's just compounded if you're over 40 and a woman. I know it sucks. But I've had women come to me eating like 600 or 700 calories a day because they're not hungry and they can't figure out why they're exhausted all the time. And I'm like, that's why. You can't survive on that. That is starvation. Okay. Blood sugar instability. This is another one. When you're not eating enough or not eating often enough, okay, blood sugar drops, and every crash is a cortisol spike. Cortisol's doing its job. It's supposed to, but it's doing it too much because you're not eating correctly. Okay, so every cortisol spike is energy spent on a stress response instead of a function. You feel it as a crash, a wall, a wave of exhaustion that just comes out of nowhere. And protein at every meal, eating on a schedule and not going too long between meals is how you keep that from happening. Okay. And another one is dehydration and mineral depletion. Because you're not eating as much, you're not drinking as much either. Okay. And this one is often underestimated. GLP-1s affect how your body processes fluids. Many women are mildly to moderately dehydrated without even realizing it. Okay. Dehydration is one of the fastest ways to cause fatigue, brain fog, and headaches. A lot of people think that they have depression, but they're dehydrated and their brain is reacting to that. Okay, so there is definitely a connection right there. You have to make sure you get enough fluids for your brain. Okay, of course, your body too. And then add to that the electrolyte losses that come with eating less: sodium, potassium, magnesium, right? And your cells literally cannot produce energy efficiently. So water and minerals are not optional on a GLP-1. They are non-negotiable. They're foundational. I added a electrolyte to mine because I don't eat high sodium foods anyway, right? And mine, I think, has like 250 milligrams of sodium. Some are higher, so make sure you look at that. But it also has the minerals I need because I was not eating enough at one point, right? Or you're eating less just because your appetite's suppressed. And so I want to talk about a woman that I worked with. She'd been on a GLP-1 for about 5 months, and she came to me like completely wiped out, and she was barely functional by midday. And she'd stopped exercising because she had nothing left, which makes sense, right? And she was surviving on coffee and whatever small amounts of food she could manage, right? So when we looked at what she was actually eating, she was getting around 500 calories most days, which that should be one meal, right? 500 calories. So maybe 35 to 40 grams of protein. She was drinking 1 glass of water a day and multiple cups of coffee. Now, yeah, coffee has water in it, right? But coffee also kind of dehydrates too. Caffeine dehydrates, right? So she thought she was doing everything right because the scale was moving. However, right, her body was in full survival mode. This is what I talk about all the time. When you undereat and you're starving your body, it knows you're starving. So it slows everything down and it conserves everything. It holds onto that body fat for future energy because it doesn't know when you're going to eat again. Okay. And so being in survival mode cut energy production to the bone to protect itself, right? We didn't change her medication. We didn't increase her dose. God, she did not need that, right? We got her eating again, 3 meals a day, 30 grams of protein in minimum at each meal. Really, women should be eating at least 120 to 140 grams of protein a day, even on a GLP-1, but 100 is minimum, okay? Water before caffeine, because that helps when you are perimenopause to menopause. It helps your body, the cortisol reaction, right? Not keep spiking because caffeine stimulates your cortisol, and this is the last thing we need right now. Electrolytes in the morning, right? That's when I do mine, and a small snack with protein if she had more than 4 or 5 hours between a meal. Okay, because remember, fasting in menopause is the worst thing that you need. Perimenopause, right? You don't need that. Your body perceives it as a threat and stress and then holds on to fat again. Okay. So within 2 weeks, the fatigue started lifting, and within a month, she was back to her workouts. So the medication wasn't failing her, her nutrition was failing her. It is like a byproduct of being on the medicine. So it's something that doctors know nothing about, pharmacists know nothing about, that to help you when you get handed your medicine, they're like, here, have fun, right? They know diddly squat about nutrition, even on a GLP-1. Okay, so that's why I'm here. Okay. But I'm filling that gap between you getting your medicine and you completely not taking your medicine, right? And your body feeling like crap. Okay. And that's the work that we do inside my GLP-1 nutrition intensive, building that eating structure that makes the medication work the way it's supposed to for your energy, your muscle, and your long-term health. And so the link will be in the show notes. You can book a call with me. I'll also have the page on my website linked to, so you can read more about it. Okay. And so what does actually fixing GLP-1 fatigue look like? Okay. So again, start with protein. All right. You're going to get sick of hearing it, but obviously we're all saying it for a reason, right? Every single meal, 30 grams minimum per meal, non-negotiable. If you've been listening to me, you've heard me say when my appetite was really more suppressed, it'd be 2 o'clock and I'd realize I hadn't eaten lunch yet. And I eat breakfast at like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning when I'm working out. So that was a long time to go. I'm usually hungry by like 11:30. So I would just grab protein because I knew my body needed protein. I'd eat some cold chicken. Super easy, right? Didn't have to prep it, just stabbed it with a fork and ate it. Okay. So again, non-negotiable. If you're not hungry enough to eat a full meal, like I was just saying, prioritize protein first and eat as much as you can. For those that can have dairy, I do. I miss cheese. I miss yogurt. Greek yogurt, cottage cheese. I eat hard-boiled eggs too. Again, they're not high in protein. A large egg is about 6 grams of protein. So you would have to eat like 5 of them to get 30 grams. Okay. But in between meals are a great snack and you're getting protein. I eat extra large eggs, so they're 8 grams of protein. A protein shake. A lot of people are saying you got to eat real food. Yes, I agree. But if you cannot stomach food, get it from a healthy protein shake, not a fruit smoothie with no protein. You can add fruit to your protein shake. Frozen fruit, it's great. Even chocolate with berries is great. But some days I just don't feel like dinner, so I will eat 40 grams of in my protein shake because I know I need that protein. Okay. And like I said, chicken right out of the fridge, right? So, and eat on a schedule. This is what I teach. You have to eat at each meal time if you're whether you're hungry or not. Okay. Your body needs that consistency. We cannot fast in perimenopause or menopause. 99% of women, it backfires. Your body sees it as stress and it holds on to weight. You don't lose weight, you gain weight. So do not go longer than 4 or 5 hours between meals. Okay, eat those protein snacks. I have little packs of like nuts with like dried cranberries and different things, and there's like 4 grams of protein in that. That's a perfect snack in between because it's protein and it's healthy for you. Hydrate before you have your caffeine, right? Every morning, 8 to 16 ounces of water. I've started to try and do this too. I have my protein shake in water, and then I have my electrolytes, and I have a 16-ounce cup of it. And then have your caffeine, okay? Because you need the protein on your stomach before caffeine because it's going to spike your cortisol. And this is one of the fastest ways to notice a difference in your energy. I did when I started adding electrolytes, I didn't realize I needed them until I was taking them again, right? I was like drinking them and it made me feel so much better. Again, don't go more than 4 to 5 hours without eating. I've already mentioned that because it just backfires over 40. And increase your overall food intake. I know it sounds counterintuitive on a GLP-1, but if you're tired, you're depleted, you're losing your hair, you're losing muscle, and you're stalled on the scale, you're not eating enough. Okay. More food more often with more protein. Okay. It's that simple. I know it doesn't sound simple, but it really is. Okay. So GLP-1 fatigue is a common problem, but it's not inevitable. And for most women, is not the medication. Not, for everyone, it's kind of like a byproduct because you're not hungry and you're not eating, but it's the nutrition that is not, that's causing it. Okay. You give yourself a shot, you're not tired instantly. It's not from the medicine, but it is a byproduct of the appetite suppression. Okay. So if you take one thing away today, okay, let it be this. Your GLP-1 was designed to suppress your appetite, but it was never designed to tell you how much your body needs. That's your job with my help. And your body still needs a lot. Okay, protein, calories, water, minerals, constant or consistent meals, right? Not because you've been trying to eat more just for the sake of it, but your body is working hard and it needs the fuel to keep working for you. Okay. The women getting the best results on GLP-1s in perimenopause are not the ones eating the least. They're the ones eating the most intentionally. And if you want help building that structure, I'll have come book a call with me. It's free. I don't charge even when people don't show up, right? I started thinking about charging, but I'm still making them free. So please at least show up or cancel. Don't just ghost. But yeah, the link will be there. My page about my program, the link will be there. And we look at exactly like what your body needs. And then I let you know if it's my program is a fit. Okay. And thank you for listening. Please share this with another woman that needs it, that's on a GLP-1 and is really hurting her body from not eating correctly. And I will be in your headphones next week.